Alrighty guys, next video is using the bandsaw. We're using the bandsaw to cut these side pieces and the back pieces to our cornhole set. Alright, so we're gonna need to cut 2 1.5 by 5 inch rectangles for our 2 back pieces. And we're going to need to cut 2 1.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles for our sides. We're then gonna mark on those rectangles from corner to corner and cut them in half using the scroll saw. That'll give us our 4 sides. So we're going to be cutting 4 rectangles. Again, first one 1.5 by 6.5. Next one is 1.5 by 5 inches. Okay. As always, safety first. I have glasses on. I do not have long hair. No jewelry on. Short sleeves and closed-toed shoes. All right. All right. So to start off, we are going to cut the 2 back pieces. I have a piece of wood here that's 2.5 inches by 13 inches long, okay? So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna cut these to 6.5 inches. So on my bandsaw here, I have a ruler and it's adjustable, so I can adjust the fence to be at exactly 6.5 inches. So there's 4, 5, 6, and it tells me right there that we are at 6.5 inches. So I'm going to push down to lock the fence in. I want to make sure my piece of wood that I'm cutting stays flush against the fence. That ensures my cut will be nice and straight, okay? So I'm gonna turn it on, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna show you our next cut. All right? So we now have 2 6.5 inch pieces, but our rectangles, or our next cut, needs to be at 1.5 inches. Again, we're going to just slide our fence over to 1.5 inches, which is right there. So there's 1, and there's 1.5 inches. Lock it in place, and I'm gonna run both of these through the bandsaw. Okay, this is where you can always use a push stick if you're uncomfortable or if your fingers get too close to the blade. So I always have that handy. So I'm going to cut these 2, and then we're going to cut our side pieces. All right. If you don't like where your finger is, use the push stick and just push on the outside. There we go. And then I'm going to do my second one. All right, now these 2 pieces, we will be drawing a diagonal line from corner to corner on both pieces, and these are going to be cut using the scroll saw in our next couple steps. Next piece, we are going to be cutting our back pieces. So this is going to be 1.5 inches by 5 inches. So again, I am going to move the fence to 5 inches. Is right there. This piece of wood is 12 inches by 2.5 inches. So I'm only able to get 1 piece out of each of my cuts, or when I cut this, each by 5 inches. So I'm going to turn it on and cut my 5 inch mark. I'm going to do another one, so I have my 2 pieces. Turn it off. Once again, we need these 5.5 inch pieces to be 1.5 inches wide. So I'm going to move my fence one more time, and this will be our last cut on the bandsaw. Lock it down, turn it on, and we're going to cut our back pieces. One piece here. And our second piece. So I should have 4 rectangles, all 1.5 inches, and they are 1 at 5 and 1 at 6.5. There's the difference. When you are done using the machine, make sure that all your scrap wood that you used gets thrown in the scrap wood bin. And I did not have my broom with me, but we would also want to sweep off the machine and make sure it's nice and clean. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to come ask myself or Mr. Singer.